everyone, welcome back to Codeflow, and today we are going to discuss about MLH fellowship. And yeah, so as like as I got many requests, like what exactly the things which we need to uh, be in proficient when applying for this particular fellowship, and what exactly are the projects we need, and how the project should be like. It should be medium one, hard one, or something. So yeah. Uh, I think, as far as I know, the MLH fellowship application, like I would be sharing the link. It offers some tracks, and there is different process for each track. Like they have interviews, they have the same kind of structure, like but the particular domain in which they are in, like someone are open source, whereas other are of I think so pre-fellowship. Let's go and get into application and see what exactly the tracks they are offering. So yeah. So hey there, we are so excited to hear that you are interested in becoming an MLH fellow in our upcoming batch. At Major League Hacking, we know that the power of hands-on learning firsthand every year. So more than 1,15,000 students. I mean, that's a huge number. Aspiring technologists around the world participate in MLH events where they learn the skills and that help them to land jobs, launch startups, and everything in between. So you can't learn these necessary skills in most classrooms, which so many people take education into their own hands, join our community every year. So MLH Fellowship is a collection of programs designed to make learning these skills easy, fun, and fast by pairing education and fun content. Yeah, exactly. The MLH has so much of fun. Like we were doing so much of collaboration with other team. I was interacting with so many fellows in my pod. I think so there was only 12 fellows, but yeah, it was a great interaction period. Like I met, it was like a compulsory kind of thing. Like we have to meet everyone, but I think it should be compulsory because it is something which pushed me to meet so many people about of different regions and get interacted to. So yeah, it was a great thing. They also have some other interesting stuff, like we had stand-ups, we had a triannual thing, and yeah, so they are offering so much of fun events as well. So uh, whether you are looking to build out your initial portfolio of personal project, polish up a project you are passionate about, or start contributing to open source, we have a program for you. Like exactly, they have programs. They offer programs for initial portfolio of personal projects. Polish up your projects which you're passionate about, and they are also offering the tracks like open source one. I think so, are which is completely crazy to go for. The application takes 30 to 45 minutes to complete. Yeah, exactly. The application takes 30 to 45 minutes. If you do want to spend more time, I would appreciate that, because I think there are more than, like as I said, like there are so many aspiring candidates. So they always have this FIFO kind of thing, like first come first serve. The application which arrives first gets interviewed first, and then the later like many have to get feedback, like their application is on rolling basis, so their application gets rolled to the next uh, current if the current current is full. So try to apply as early as possible, because they have to complete the interview process, which include two interview processes, and one and then initial one is shortlisting our application. So yeah, next page. Okay, so these are just eligibility checks, and you will be having an interview. Like the first interview which we have in MLH is eligibility check. They check like our age is 18 or not, we are residency, time commitments, communication skills. Yeah, you should be proficient in English to be there, because there will be people with of different regions. Coding experience, I think so. You must be having some coding experience, at least one language. You should not be like a jack of all language, but you should be at least proficient in one language. Environment, I have access to work with. Okay, so would environment basically mean like you would be having some meetings and your camera should you should be having a camera or a mic to get connected with other people during the stand-ups and board meetings. We usually have board meetings like Monday to Friday. It's 7:30 to 8:30 maybe, depending on the like what exactly time it takes in giving the stand-up and all the stuff. Okay. So AV setup like regular video quality, internet connection, webcam, and microphone. So congratulations, you are qualified to apply for MLH fellowship. Like yeah, exactly. This is the eligibility criteria they ask for while applying for MLH. Like so, next page. Basic information like what's your first name. Um, let's okay some email and you should be having a resume, get a profile, LinkedIn, and personal website portfolio URL. Okay, so I didn't had a great portfolio. Like I just put a portfolio which I made in my first year. So yeah, but try to focus on more on the GitHub side and the LinkedIn side. Like they should be well maintained, proper. So let's. I think so. I have to fill this. Otherwise, yeah. So filling this up. Email address. GitHub, LinkedIn. Hmm. The form is not completed. There is one problem in submission. Okay. Okay. So we have to put our resume as well. So yeah, the resume should be an updated one resume. So let me put my. Okay. Next page. Okay, so they currently they are offering two tracks. Like one is open source one, and the other one is software engineering track. Like software engineer solves the real world problems by collaborating on projects and real world companies, common partners, and open source track like learn how to create open source citizen by contributing in open source projects. So yeah, so we can apply in any one of these tracks like open source one or software engineering because last time we had this explorer track, so I applied for the same. And yeah, the application process for all of these is same, like it's the same one, it's just your choice like which one exactly you want to. And yeah, try to build your application according to the track which you choose for. Like for the open source track, you should, I think so, in your application you should demonstrate your open source contributions and more put more focus on these things. And in software engineering track, like you solve real world problems, engineering problems by collaborating on projects from real world companies. Yeah, in this you can show your development skills and all because if you have worked in an internship or something with real companies, so yeah, that would be a great thing. But if you have not, then demonstrate your web development skills. Okay. So next thing is like uh, which particular term you are applying for summer 2021 pre-fellowship only. Okay, so yeah, this was the track which they offered to the students, which did applied for Explore track, but the track was stopped due to some reasons. So yeah, so we would be applying for the fall 2021. Okay, so which language do you prefer? So basically, the language you are comfortable with, like JavaScript, Python, Julia, that it's AI ML part or web. So I'm more comfortable with JavaScript, but otherwise you can choose any. And yeah, so the questions would be regarding the particular language you choose over here, not the particular language, but the tech stacks you did in the project. Like I did React in my project, so I was asked a question of React, like what exactly is virtual DOMs. So this was the question which was asked to me in my final interview. So that's a pretty easy question. So you have to be very calm at the state of mind so to answer these kind of questions, because you don't need to be wondering like what exactly the question. They really asked basic questions, nothing. Okay, country, type, citizen, time commitments. Okay, so this was a time commitment, like you would be working for part time or full time, like 24 hours a week per week. Like so, we were working for the 5 days, I think. So, yep, and the full time one. So I chose part time one because I'm in a I'm doing my undergraduation. So yeah, so timings I was comfortable with. So according to the Indian Standard Times, I chose for the afternoons and nights because this was the time I was most comfortable with. Yeah. So next, yeah, I am enrolled. Okay, your current institution. Its current institution type. So basically, as I remember, I just university undergraduate or yeah. You will have to provide your institution URL. Expected graduation month, which is obviously July 2023. Like major. Okay, so major is what exactly branch you are doing. Type of degree. Commitment, like I'm a full-time student. Highest level of education you have completed so far. So I have done um secondary or equivalent. Like my bachelor degree is not completed, so it's secondary or school or equivalent. Like that's completed so far. Have you ever had a job that required a code before? Some internship. Like if you have done some internship, you can put a yes. If you have not done anything like a job, which should be called as like a work as entitled as a job, so you can also put a no over here because I had not worked anywhere before this MLH in a particular internship. So yeah, I put a no. Are you planning to look for a coding job in next 12 months? Yes, I am planning. So yeah, you can also put all the details, like if you are planning for a job in next 12 months, then you can, like internship, and which particular duration you are expecting to do this job. Are you available for remote opportunities? Remote opportunities are basically work at home kind of. So yes, I am open to remote opportunities, but I'm not exclusively open looking for, because I am available to work on location jobs as well. So in which country? So I preferred India. Okay, next. So yeah, this is the section like which exactly skills you are proficient in. I am proficient in Java, C++, and I know some bit of Python, but They're asking for proficiency. So I would prefer either going then less languages, but saying what exactly I'm proficient in. You can be intermediate, but try to prefer those languages you are most proficient in, because marketing extra languages can't is not going to help anyway. So because yeah, so which programming technology you are most proficient with? So I'm most proficient with JavaScript. Okay. Have you built a website using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript? I try to mark only the things which are legit enough, and you had done, because there there is at any point, like if someone asks you, like interviewer asks you about anything in the application, and he finds anything fishy, then he may point out. So try to write the things which are legit, which are you think are correct. So mixing so much of languages and so much of work is not going to help at all. So yeah, build a website, then a front end with React. Yes, I have done. Build a backend application with Flask. No, I have no knowledge about Flask yet. Then a backend web application with Node.js. Yes, I had. Built something on Ruby on Rails. No. Mobile application using iOS Swift Object C. No. Desktop application. No, I have not used like my Mac OS yet. I would like to explore this, but no. No. Built a cross-platform desktop application with Electron. No. Definitive. Not really. So learned a programming language outside of class. Yeah, I had used it. Yep. Written unit tests. Yeah, I have written some, but I prefer not to click it because they were pretty small. So used continuous integration. Yes, I had created a pull request. Used a package manager. Yes, published a project to a package manager. Not really. Used a REST API. Yes, I had built also one. Okay. Have you contributed to open source? Yes, I have contributed. So it's a legit thing for the open source track, I feel, because they are asking whether you have contributed before or not. So asked a question over Stack Overflow. Not really. Answer the question. Not really. I just used to see what exactly is happening, like how the code. I used to just search the things over Stack Overflow. So I have not done any of these, but yeah. If you want to take this out, you can ask one question, which in anyway in some time. So it hardly matters. So use a Linux as a primary development environment. Yes, I have used Windows. Yes. Remote a project at a hackathon. Yeah, had a previous coding internship or full-time job. I've never done that. Given a tech talk. Yes. Debug someone else code. Yeah, and I think everyone should mark this thing as yes, because if you are a programmer or coder, if you are working in a team, this shows like you have done something called teamwork. So that's a great demonstration about that. So try to mark this out. Yes. If you have not helped any of your friend in debugging, ask him like I'll debug your code and then mark it yes. Okay. So what exactly our next question? Like which of the following are your interests? So, okay. So my interests are basically in blockchain, backend development, um, DevOps, front-end web and mobile both, graphics. Web APIs are good. Mm, ARVR is also a great domain. So yeah, that's all about my interests. Next, okay. The next question is code sample requirements. So here you have to put all the code sample requirements, like code sample requirements representatives. The sample project should be representative of your abilities. If you're working in a group project, make sure you have contributed a substantial amount of code. Like if this is a group project, then you have contributed something great to the project, like that you can show to the interviewer, like what exactly you did in this project and how the things are going on, like all the webflow and things. And this is the code that you wrote for a purpose other than this application. Existing example, like, okay, so some sample of the code they are asking, like, of the same. Then public on GitHub. Your sample should be viewable on GitHub publicly. Yes, the repository should be public and multiple files. Okay, real world problem. Your sample should solve a real world problem and accomplish a goal, while some class projects which meet this criteria most want. Okay, so there is nothing to wrong with binary search tree you wrote, but it will be hard for you interview to get to know like what kind of that sample. Yeah, exactly. Like, you have to put something great in your application because there are many candidates. I think so. There are thousands and thousands of candidates which are applying, and only handsome of candidates get into this current, in particular current. So yeah, so your project should be something unique so that you get shortlisted even in the first come first serve basis. If you are applying for open source fellowship, please submit a code sample using programming language of your most preferred tag you are applying for. Like, if you choose JavaScript, then prefer to put something over JavaScript code sample. Okay, so here is the GitHub URL you have to put forward, and which program, language, technology contribution to this code sample written in it. So choosing JavaScript, some URL. I'm just putting a different project which I actually submit. Okay, please describe the code sample, like what exactly it does, and describe what you learned when you created this code sample. Okay, I'll come over these things later on, because I think these are the most two crucial things in the project. So leaving for now, and we'll get over this later words in the end of the video. Okay, so these are the questions, and I think we are done with the application after this. Just to check, like, are we done? Okay, so I think there might be some other question, like, why do you want to become an MLH fellow? So this question is basically very genuine question, like, why you want to part of this fellowship, and I think that should demonstrate something great, like why exactly you want to be. Because when I wrote the application, I put forward like I want to get into the environment of MLH, which I feel is great, and working in that particular environment is something which adds to it. So you can also put your motivation, like what exactly is your motivation behind being an MLH fellow, then what interests you to be that, because how the things are going to work when you are being a feminist fellow, and you get some reviews from the past fellows and they say that they really like the program and you got or you also want to experience it, something like that. Anything which you think. You can also mention like your potential growth opportunities you got from this program, like if you build the application, what would be the potential growth opportunities you are going to get, and how this application, this fellowship is going to help you in your career. So you can also put these things up. Okay. And yeah, the last thing which we can put, I think, is some if you have faced any struggle or something due to anything, you can put forward like with I face this kind of struggle. So I want to become MLH fellow because MLH fellowship provides me with a platform which helps me to overcome these struggles. So yeah, so you can put all these things here. The MLH Fellowship is a diverse community that welcomes fellows from a wide range of experiences and backgrounds. What perspective or experience will you bring to fellowship to strengthen your community? Yeah, exactly. The MLH Fellowship is a diverse community. It has quite range of fellows. So what exactly do you bring to the community? So this you can answer in a technical way as well as more social way as well, like what exactly the moral values and ethics you bring to the community, like you like teamwork, you like collaborating, you like anything, then any technical skills or how the things should be working in a technical domain, like you like helping others over the pod, like anything, like what experiences background, like do you have a particular experience, like I conducted something and I got some new experience and I would like to share that particular experiences with my port, like you conducted some events, you conducted anything, so did anything great, you feel like you did something great and you have that you learn something with that great thing and you like to share it with your fellows, yet your teammates. So do write these things because I think this makes your application different from others, like you had done something great and you want them the things you learned there to be shared with your teammates. That's great because you like. So yeah, anything else we should know about you? So yeah, you can put over here all the achievements, all the great things you do, maybe your great projects, your great accomplishments, some scholarships you earned, anything which you think you are proud of and you want someone and the interviewer knows it before, because there is not a question of leaving anything blank in this particular application, because writing something unique is going to benefit. And yeah, so try to write things and make your thing make your application more cooler, more unique than others. So because application which is going to stand out is the one which is going to be selected for the further rounds. Let's get back to the code sample questions, like what exactly the code sample does. So in this particular question, you have to describe the thing, like the basic idea, first the aim, what exactly the code sample does, and then we have to dive into technicalities, like what exactly it is doing in technical basis, how you made the things to work, like you added some optimization codes, you added some functions of JavaScript, you added something great, which was like how this particular code sample is working and what makes this, like you can make also write some USPs, like what this project was. And so this is all you can do. I would be giving some more points on this particular basis. Okay, so the next question is briefly describing what you learned when you created this code sample. So in this you can put forward, like I learned a particular language, learned a particular function, some API or anything you learned which you feel is different and you learned in this particular project, and it was refreshing up, like you learned something new which was great to learn and it added great extent to your code, your coding style. And yeah, for submitting the code sample, I think the code sample should be very well, having a very well what we call it, it should be well commented with a clean enough use of formatter, or to always write your code like so that it is properly intended, it is modular. So because it is great, like when you are contributing to open source track, I feel like if you are contributing to the same track, if someone others is not able to get your code, so that's what it becomes an issue. So try to write a code which is more cleaner and well commented. So yeah, so this was all for the code sample, which I think, and what exactly the code sample should be, like what should be the depth of the code sample. Because when I had the interview, the particular person just asked me about like what exactly your project is doing. So it was basically upon my my skills to interpret the things, how they're working, how the how the workflow is. So it was more into that thing, and I have to explain him that particular part in 15 minutes. So yeah, that was all for this thing. So I will be making this like how to write a code sample as essay. like how to write this essay and all that thing in a different video if a more brief is required. So just writing in any. So okay, so this is the question, like if you want a stipend, the needs-based stipends are also provided by MLH. These stipends are used to be are to be used in your educational uh, fees or curriculum things. So if you are lacking some money for your courses, you can MLH can pay that thing, like offer educational stipends. So who need them to help offset living and educational expenses during the program. So this all details you can literally find out on the website. So no, I don't need it. But if you really need it, you can also mark a yes. So change the Indian. So where did you hear about MLH fellowship? I heard from an MLH fellow. Okay, so they're asking for some fees, like what exactly the application fees. So no, uh, no, uh, yeah. So I'm left with no dues. So I'm not about review answers. So here you can review all the things you did. So yeah, this was all about the application you have filled, and I would try to make things more clearer in my next video, if required, like how to do the technical essays or how to make these questions more good. So yeah, thank you for this particular video. And if anyone wants to get to know about the interview process, you would be having 2 interviews after the shortlisting of your application. The first one would be eligibility check. As I told earlier, they will be asking some general questions like, are you 18 or above? Are you having connectivity, internet things, and all that? And some other questions might be like, why you want to be an MLH fellow, why you are in, why what MLH fellow is offering, and that's different from other fellowship or other programs, and why only MLH fellow. This was all the questions I had in my first round, and the second round was basically the question would be like, what is the particular project you are proud of? So here you have to explain the code sample you gave, and at the last of 15 minutes, the interview will be asking some questions based on the language you chose and based on the project you gave to them. So yeah, thank you. Thank you for joining for this particular video.